Welcome to the channel. I'm Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Have you ever been threatened by someone? They've threatened to throw you down like a leaning wall or a tottering fence, and they fully intend to cast you down. And they say you're on a lofty perch. They delight in lies about you, and with their mouths they bless, but inwardly they curse. How do you deal with this kind of covert troublemaker? They bless with their mouth, but inwardly they curse. That's narcissism. In Psalm 62, verses 3 through 4, the writer goes, "How long will you threaten me? Will all of you throw me down like a leaning wall or a tottering fence? You fully intend to cast me down from my position, and they delight in lies. With their mouths they bless, but inwardly they curse." When you meet somebody new, it's always going to start with a love bombing phase. They're going to mirror you and agree with everything you say and like everything you like and eat what you eat. Outwardly they're blessing with their mouth, but inwardly it doesn't line up with what they really feel. They're just trying to win you over. He says in verse 9, "Low-born men or people are but a vapor. The exalted but a lie. Weighed on the scale, they go up, and together they are but a vapor. Place no trust in exhortation or false hope in stolen goods. If your riches increase, do not set your heart upon them." Sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we feel like a vapor. The lies just suck us in and suck us up. But when we get weighed on a scale, can we balance the scale with what's right, with spirit and truth? Maybe not. Not every time, but for the most part, if you're genuine and trying as best as you can, the weight of the scale goes up. Together, they are but a vapor. Sometimes there's things that we think and believe that just aren't real. They're just a vapor going through our mind. And we have to protect ourselves from these imaginations and idealized ways of thinking. We can't place trust in exhortation. People will tell us things that they think we want to hear. And if we buy into that, we weaken ourselves. Place no trust in exhortation or false hope in stolen goods. There's many a man that's stolen woman from another man. And don't underestimate how easily hypergamy can make a woman jump ship. This is where we need to be careful, because people will exalt us with their words, but inside they curse. How many women have walked away from their families thinking that the grass was greener on the other side, only to be left standing there alone, all on their own, thinking, my goodness, what have I done? David said in Psalm 62 verse 5, rest in God alone, O my soul, for my hope comes from you. You alone are my rock and my salvation. You are my fortress, and I will not be shaken. This is how men used to be looked upon. They were looked upon as hope. They were looked upon as a source of salvation, a rock. They were a fortress. Women don't always look at it that way anymore. They're shaken. But David said, don't be shaken. Rest alone in God. My salvation and my honor rest on God, my strong rock. My refuge is in God. Trust in the Lord at all times, O people. Pour out your hearts before Him. God is our refuge. You see, when you get your life right with God, other things should. They don't always, because I've seen Christians that have gone by the wayside. They should come into line. You're not alone. That's the whole point. You were never alone. He was there the whole time. His salvation was there. His fortitude was there. His honor was there. The rock on which we stand, He is there. His refuge was there. His trust is there. And we should pour out our hearts before Him, because He is our refuge. Are you transparent with your partner? Or are you shaken on the inside, not sure what's going on? Just remember where we started. How long, you foolish man, you foolish people, will all of you throw down people like a leaning wall? Will you attack people like a tottering fence with your mouth and with your words? The fool fully intends to cast people down from his lofty perch. They delight in lies, and with their mouths they bless, but inwardly they curse. This is how a lot of people get used and abused, and trouble falls upon them. And it's sad, so sad, because it's not the way God intended. He intended us to have rest. He intended us not to be in situations where we'd be threatened, where people could throw their words at us and try and knock us down like a leaning wall or a tottering fence. There are people out there that do intend to try and cast you down. They don't like seeing you succeed. And you have to be aware of these people and keep them at arm's length. Keep them right out of it. Set boundaries up around them. Because they'll lie about you, and they'll bless you to your face and curse you behind your back. That's what David warns against in Psalm 62, verses 3 and 4. But when your life is right, you rest. Your soul's at rest. And your hope is in all that you set your mind to. Your life, your girl, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, but it all comes down via the protection of God. How? Well, God gives you wisdom. He gives you the wisdom to be able to see which ones are blessing with their mouth and cursing on the inside. You can tell who's fake and who's real. You have to be careful how you come to those conclusions, but you can tell. Give a person enough rope and they'll hang themselves. It's just how it is. The fool are but a vapor. They are exalted in their lies, but on the scale they go up together like a vapor, and we place no trust in their exhortation, or false hope in their stolen goods. If your riches increase, do not set your heart upon them. In other words, if life goes well for you characteristically, continue to grow. Never stop growing. And be careful who exalts you, because I've always said, flattery can deceive, and it will if you let it, terribly deceive, and mislead you about yourself. You need to stay humble and stay in line with the simplicity of life. Place no trust in exaltation or extortion. Remember, it's the Lord, ultimately, who will pay each of us according to our deeds. God has spoken once, I have heard this twice, that power belongs to Him, and loving devotion to Him. Be wise, be careful what you listen to. Don't be misled by praising words of how wonderful you are and how mighty you are. Stay humble. Self-introspect. Check yourself from the inside out and grow. And grow. And grow. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.